All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about something pretty fundamental, the very architecture of our reality. We're going to explore how we can actually, consciously architect the narrative of our own beliefs.
So let me just start with a big question, one I really want you to sit with for a second. Who is really writing your story? It sounds simple, but trust me, the answer is way more complicated than you think.
You see, every one of us has this internal story playing on a loop, 24/7. It's like a script, right? A kind of psychological operating system that's guiding our choices, our feelings, pretty much everything. And the crazy part? Most of the time, we don't even know it's there.
So where in the world does this script come from? Well, here's the thing. That first draft, the original blueprint for our lives, it's not actually something we write ourselves. It's something we inherit.
And this inheritance has a name. We can call it the childhood contract. I want you to think of it like the opening chapter of your book, an unconscious deal you made when you were a kid. You basically agreed to act a certain way, to put on this practice self, in exchange for the two things every kid needs most: safety and belonging. Now, when you break this contract down, it gets really interesting. You've got the role we play, that's the practice self. It's governed by a whole set of invisible rules, these deep-seated beliefs that just kind of push the story forward on autopilot. And the goal is super simple: security. But the side effect, the unintended consequence, is that it can seriously box in our true, authentic self. And this quote just nails it. Beliefs are the rails your life runs on. I mean, picture that. They set a direction, a pre-written path, and unless you wake up and notice them, you'll just keep chugging along that track, never even realizing you could have chosen a completely different destination. Okay, so every story has a narrator. But the narrator of this inherited script, well, let's just say they're not always telling you the whole truth. This is the voice of what we're going to call the small me.
This right here, this is the central conflict playing out inside all of us. On one side, you've got the small me. Its narration is totally based on fear. Its only motivation is survival, and it will literally edit reality to keep you safe and stuck where things are familiar. But on the other side, you've got the big me. That's your potential. Its voice is all about inquiry, about growth. It doesn't just want to survive, it wants to become something more. It wants to write a whole new story. So, to really get a handle on this, you have to understand its tactics. The small me is constantly whispering these stories of scarcity, of danger. It bends the truth to make you think any risk is a bad idea. It's that voice in your head that says, "Oh, you're not ready for that," or "Nope, don't say that, you'll sound stupid." It basically hits the pause button on your own character development. But, and this is a huge but, what if you could fire that narrator? This is the turning point in the whole journey. This is where we go from being a passive character in some old, dusty story to becoming the active author of a brand new one. This is the revision process.
So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, first you have to identify a limiting belief, that recurring thought like, I'm not good enough. Then you follow that thread back in time, digging through your memories until you find the original scene, that exact moment where the childhood contract got signed. And then you get to the most important step. You ask yourself if that old, outdated rule still serves you today.
And this is absolutely crucial. You cannot fight these old beliefs. You can't force them out. That small me is just trying to protect you, remember. The real tool for change, the key that unlocks the whole thing, is gentle, curious inquiry. It's all about getting curious, not getting into a conflict.
We can think of these tools as the arc of questions. It's a powerful, elegant set of inquiries that the big me can use to gently but firmly challenge all those fear-based stories from the small me. This is how you take back the pen.
And the first question is so simple, it's almost disarming. It's just this: is this true? When that voice pops up and says, you're going to fail, you just pause, and with real curiosity, you ask, is that really 100% absolutely true? The second question is just as powerful. Is this mine? Is this belief, this fear, this rule, is it actually yours? Or is it maybe an echo of something a parent used to say or a teacher? Is it just a line you inherited from that old childhood contract? And you can see the effect right here. It's amazing. Look at the influence of the small me. Before you do anything, it's high, right? But the second you ask, is this true? Bam, its power shrinks. And then when you follow up with, is this mine? Look at that. Its influence just plummets. You are literally taking back control of your own story, one question at a time. So the big takeaway from all this is just incredibly empowering.
Your internal narrative is not some fixed, unchangeable reality. It's a construct. It's an architecture that you can absolutely change. You now know how to spot that limiting voice of the small me, and, way more importantly, you have the tools, that arc of questions, to revise the entire script. The whole goal here is to consciously shift your life story from just surviving to truly becoming. Which really just leaves us with one final and I think essential question. Now that you know you are the architect, now that you know you're the one holding the pen, what story are you going to write next?